If you want to get the top odds every time, bet with TopSport's Same Game Multi. TopSport. Feel the excitement. Gamble responsibly.
Welcome back to another edition of the Same Game Multi Podcast. We're back and bigger than ever. Missed last week, unfortunately, due to COVID and having to isolate myself. All's good for those messages of support, but we're back for back for round 7. They were flooding in, so to preview all the games, we've got the boys. Mr. Jared Burton fighting out the blue corner. How are you, mate?
Good. Good to come back into it, mate. Feeling fresh after a week off, ready to rumble.
Rested back down to reserve grade last week, mate?
Yeah, back down to reserve grade, mate. Just
where you belong.
My own thoughts.
And Mr. Matthew Mark Cherry, welcome back, mate.
Cheers, mate. I must be in the red, white and blue corner this week.
Yeah,
definitely.
Well, they need something, that's for sure.
Felt weird having a week off.
It did. Very odd, very odd. Boys, joining us as always to kick the show off is the CEO of TopSport, Tristan Merlehan. Also had the week off last week. He's very busy, I believe. How are you, mate?
Yeah, very good, boys. Very good. Good to be chatting again. Yeah, we were out of play last week as well, but looking forward to running through a few games today.
Should be good. There's a few good games last week, mate. You know, a bit of an upset there at the end of it. Good old Parramatta let everyone down, I suspect.
Yeah, no, there was a lot of multis running into the end of the Eels. So, there was a pretty handy result at our end with the Tigers getting the result. I gave them very minimal chance, so it was very surprising.
Basically, did you a favour by the sounds, mate?
They did. So, no, we were very happy to hear the Monday result. It was very, very good Monday compared to normal, where normally you just send off Muswellbrook and the Chuka races, but obviously Easter Monday there was a bit happening with the AFL and the NRL. So, yeah, no, it was a good drive home.
That's good, and we'll back it up this week too with the Anzac Day games as well, which we'll get to a bit later on. Mate, before we do get in the games, we'll hit you with our TopSport Top That Moment of the Round. I can't remember who won last week, possibly, or the week before, maybe myself.
I think we locked it all up. I think we locked it up last week. So,
I'll claim the victory and I'll kick us off anyway, boys. There's lots of highlights throughout the weekend of footy, but I'm going to go with, and I hope you saw it, Tristan, in the Melbourne versus Sharks game, Cam Munster was an absolute gun, pulling them to pieces left, right and centre. But it's not so much Cam Munster that I want to do as my TopSport Top That Moment. It's actually Cam McInnes and his attempted dive to tackle Munster once he burnt him on the inside. I don't know about you, mate, but I attend my daughter's swimming lesson classes and she's only 6 and I've seen better dives in that, I can tell you. So it was fantastic effort from him. He was all well beat up and just decided to do a bit of a swan dive and look the part. So that's my TopSport Top That Moment, boys.
I'll jump into mine. Mine was the Zachy Lomax Frizzell incident there. A little bit of friendly banter that turned into something else. It was the ending of that with the look from David Klemmer. Now, if eyes could kill, and possibly the next Bond villain for the next movie would be David Klemmer. Those eyes were scary.
Imagine him coming at you looking like that too. I'd be running.
Well, I'm gonna roll into that actually, and it's Zach Lomax with a little bit of banter that got under Tyson Frizzell's skin, and also David Klemmer. But I thought that was excellent for a little man to get amongst the big man. The big man didn't like it. I thought it was really good for him to forget his size for once and get amongst it. You know, I don't think there's enough of it in the game anymore. Not that you want to see too much of the bad stuff, but I didn't think that was too bad. So that was my highlight, was the little man versus the big man and didn't back down.
All right, mate. Three TopSport Top That Moments of the week. Over to you to judge, and one of us will be 2 up here.
Yeah, no, I actually was watching the. I didn't see the initial Zach Lomax incident, to be honest. I saw the repercussions where David Klemmer wasn't very happy at the end of the event, which made me obviously want to see what had actually occurred, because he was very cranky with what occurred. And I did see it, and as you say, there wasn't a lot in it from Zach Lomax, but maybe jumping on him from behind when they scored, I'm not sure. But it was seemingly good friends, but I'm not so sure how. It seems like maybe Frizzell hasn't responded to any messages. I'm not sure how close they maybe are. So it was an interesting one, but I thought that was entertaining. They're very difficult to split, those two being the same. But I also really like the Cam McInnes play. That was your typical I don't really want to chase the 40 metres here to run after a bloke I've got no chance of catching. So I reckon that's got to be my moment for the weekend.
Fantastic. 2-1, boys. I'm up.
This is robbery.
About the only time I'm ever up, so it's good.
I reckon there could be a possibility that the Lomax is off the Frizzell Christmas card list this year.
Very good chance. So I think he forgets the weight classes as well.
All right, mate. While we got you, we'll jump into a couple of games. Kicking us off is Sharks versus Manly tomorrow night, Thursday night, as we record. What's the market doing there, mate? The Sharks have lost a few through the injury last week. Has it brought them in a bit, or is Manly sort of still the outsiders there?
It's $1.45 Cronulla, $2.80 Manly, and the line's 6.5. So the Sharks are short price favourites. Manly, obviously, the big concern over the last fortnight has been how they go without Turbo. Now, they've had a couple of wins. They probably have played some sides that they would be expected to beat and aren't up to the level of Cronulla right at the moment. So this will be a real litmus test for them. And yeah, the Titans obviously made a good charge late in that second half. So Cronulla went down by 14 against the Storm, but I thought that was a really, really high-quality affair, and Melbourne just showed a bit of class late. I think it might be the loss that Cronulla need to have, but there is a little bit of doubt over a few of their players. Obviously, Dale Finucane out as well. So there's certainly a few queries around this game, but 6.5 seems about right. It seems like about a try between them, but there's been some big home crowds out there at Shark Park, so I think there'll be a lot of atmosphere there, and I'm looking forward. I think this will be one of the best games of the weekend.
I don't mind the $2.80 for Manly, given Finucane's out. Hemlin Uele's out as well with a pec tear. He's been massive for them. But in saying that, the mayonnaise man, Josh Alai, he's also out for Manly. He's been a gun for Manly. He's been just chugging up the middle, making hundreds of metres each game. So it's a couple of big outs, but I don't mind that $2.80 for Manly. Boys, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I can't go near Manly at the moment.
Okay.
They're just so hard to tip at the moment, particularly just picking a head-to-head, let alone trying to pick a multi. But, I think, as Tristo touched on, the crowds down there in the Shire at Shark Park, now they're back home, mate, it's massive, and it's only going to get a bigger stadium when they finish it completely. I think it's a good little spot.
Bit same as me, but I can't touch Manly. I went to favour the Titans last week. Thought they would have rolled them. Unfortunately, they didn't quite get there. I just can't gel with Manly. I just can't pick them. I'll be leaning very heavily towards the Sharks, but it's going to be closer than what it could be. I think Sharks probably by about 10 points.
Yeah, you got it there, mate. Better adjust that market out to 10.5 as well. Mate, also just want to touch quickly on the Broncos Bulldogs, which is a Friday night game. With the Bulldogs got a few COVID-related outages that's been revealed today. Has that affected the market at all?
Yeah, it has. It has. The market opened at 4 flat, and it was, obviously these sides played each other not that long ago. It was a pretty close game. This game up at Suncorp, both sides a little bit out of form. Although the Broncos I thought were reasonably good there against Penrith, and I thought the Bulldogs were actually really good against South until the sin bin came, but they just can't seem to handle that adversity. At the moment, it's $1.28, the Broncos, $3.75, the Bulldogs, and the line's 10.5, but it has moved from 4. I get the feeling now there's going to be so much made of these outs with COVID, and I'm just not sure the players that are out. There's 4 being obviously represented in who's out, but one of them was on the extended bench anyway. I just think that 6.5 move, maybe it's gone a touch too far, and I think the Bulldogs, this might be the game, backs up against the wall, against a side that they probably feel they're a chance of beating. The Broncos have got a few out as well. Maybe 10.5 seems a little bit big now with the big market adjustment.
Yeah, I agree with everything you said. Broncos played well last week, so did the Bulldogs. Katoni Staggs, he's on fire, so if he was out for the Broncos, I'd be taking the Dogs, but unfortunately I think I'm going to stick with the Broncos, boys.
I'm going a little bit rough this week. I've actually picked the Dogs, and I've already done my tips this week, so they've already been submitted.
Look out.
You can see Matty Burton putting up those big bombs again. We'll see how Tessie Newey can handle them. No, he's out.
He's gone.
He's gone, sorry.
Yeah.
Here we got Tia.
Murray Martin in the back.
Murray
Martin.
Yeah.
So I reckon he'll be getting the pressure put right on him. I just got a feeling the Dogs will win this game, and I reckon the Fox might get a couple as well.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's probably not a bad shout. I tell you what, if you get cleaned out this week on the margin, Tristan, mate, and you have to tap someone on the shoulder, mate, I'll just send through me resume, mate, and see how we go from there. But no, I think it's a hard margin to pick, actually, because it's a game that can go either way, and this could be the first game that we see all year where where COVID has a either a positive or a negative effect for a side. But I won't go the Dogs.
The Bronx.
But I'm going to go the Broncos. As you said, Katoni Stagg is in terrific form. And I'll tell you one thing, he might be pushing for a little Origin spot if Tommy Turbo's not fit by Origin time. I'll tell you that.
100%.
These were the two teams everyone was looking for as well to make those improvements too. So it'd be good to see them have a bit of a clash again after they've had a bit of a 6-week warm up. So be very interesting. Tristo, mate, I'm going to take this one. The Chooks versus Dragons, mate, for the Anzac Day. One of the best games of the year, I reckon, to watch. A lot of build up. Most people have got the day off, having a couple of beers and down at the local RSLs and everywhere watching the game. Mate, where are the markets leading for the head-to-heads and line bets for this game?
Yeah, this game is quite wide. At the moment, it's $1.25 the Roosters, $4 the Dragons, and the line's 12. It has moved in from 12.5 into 12. So there's been a bit of support for the Dragons at the big price and at the plus, which probably looks about right to me. I don't think the Roosters are going as well as maybe, even though they've had 4 wins. I think they've been a bit rusty, and this game, the Dragons always lift, and it's normally a tight affair. So 12 points seems a big line to me.
Yeah, like Kiri actually mentioned the other day, they're still gelling as well as an actual side. With the amount of chemistry those boys have, it's understandable now looking at, say, Broncos and Dogs. It does take a while for new teams to gel. Mate, also one of the markets I enjoy, what are the punters leading towards for favourites for first try scorer for that game?
Yeah, first try scorer is always one of the most popular markets, and the first try scorer favourite there's Daniel Tupou at $7.50, Joseph Suwali at $9, Manu at 10, who's been in hot form, but just a bit of quieter game there last week against the Warriors. So expect him to bounce back. And then James Tedesco at 11. So they're the top 4 favourites of the Dragons. Ravalawa at 12 and Fagai is at 14. Zach Lomax, we spoke a bit about him earlier. He's at $22. So, yeah, no, it's always a very popular market, that one.
Mate, not a Dragon supporter at all, but I don't mind Moses Sully. What's he paying for the first try?
Yeah, $26. He's been at his Barnstorming best at the moment. So, he might really get up for this game. I think it's his first Anzac Day match. So, yeah, $26. When he's on, he's one of the most damaging players in the league.
Definitely is.
Absolutely. Very good, Tristan. We'll let you go. Thanks for joining us, mate. Anything else you want to let the punters know before you do duck off?
No, I think it's a big week of footy. We got all the markets available there, all the player performance for Supercoach fans, all the same game multis as well. So they're all available for punters to sink their teeth into. So make sure you check it all out. And we'll look forward to chatting next week and running through the big round that's just gone past. Fantastic.
Thanks, mate. As always, head on over to the website topsport.com.au. Use the code word SGM podcast when signing up and support a great Aussie company. Thanks, Tristan. We'll talk next week.
Cheers, mate.
See you, mate. Speak later, guys. Thanks.
Yeah, bye. Fantastic. There's a few good markets there, boys.
Yes, I'm rather more irresistible than others, I tell you that. Like the sneaky first try score and whatever else. I don't mind a little dab at that every now and then, not very often. Actually, I've got one in my multis, so there you go.
Yeah, okay, very good.
I might get a second job to pay for this weekend's bets, I reckon. These are very, very tasty and tempting.
Let's jump right into...
You are off. Don't talk to me.
The send-off, boys. Who are we send off? Is it you want to send off this week?
Yeah, David Clemmer. I'll say it straight up.
Send off David Clemmer. See, you're completely opposite. No, you liked it. You didn't. As in the Zach Lomax incident.
Oh, yeah. No, so this is why I'm sending him off. David Clemmer must have the shortest memory in the world. Just remember, he's not exactly the league's prettiest boy.
He ain't fucking Mother Teresa.
Exactly, 100%. You write that down, punters. He is my massive send-off for this week. I don't understand. All of a sudden, he's just got this... I don't know. I don't even know how to describe it. He's just... All of a sudden, he's pulled some maturity out of his ass. Like, I don't understand it, mate. Hey, mate, you're not exactly the biggest saint in the game, so just remember your place. And, you know, I take my hat off to him for blowing up about it, but at the same time, brother, that's got to come from someone else, I think.
I think I might have confused you. I'm in the same midst as Birdo there with him.
Right, okay.
It was just
the looks.
The looks.
Okay,
if you needed the next bloke to play the Joker in the next Batman movie, that's David Clemmer.
So you had no issues with the jumping on the back after a try.
That was fine. That was just some friendly banter. Just got blown up. Frizzell obviously having a bit of a rough time there. Could have handled it slightly differently, but in the heat of the moment, things happen. Why Clemmer got involved, I don't know. Pretty sure the big man Frizzell can handle himself, but yeah, no, it was just those papers that got me.
Okay, right. Who you sending off, mate? You got someone?
Clemmer for that jump. He's been a dog since he was at
Clemmer.
the Dogs. So.
That's a fact. There you go.
Boys, I'm sending off two things: Parramatta and Dylan Brown, because he let a multi of ours down.
Hey, don't be one of those punters, brother.
But Parramatta, obviously, they were outright favourites to win that game. As you said before, they played at Tigers level, which they came down to their level, and just couldn't get the win. So.
Yeah, couldn't get into the grind. The other thing I'm going to send off too quickly on that note as well is how much what's his name? Lay Lewis shirt stretched.
Oh yeah!
Holy moly, that's like a fucking one of those party balloons. You know when the clown's blowing it and it just keeps getting like, holy fucking how long? When's this going to tear?
Now, what happened with Ricky Stewart and Xavier Savage? There was a comment made there by Stewart.
I think he was just claiming that it was a poor time to put him on, or he didn't
Made a bad decision on him.
Replacing it,
But
Charles.
I don't think he had a choice because Chan's come off with a knock. I don't understand, but
I don't know. I think if he had there was something about that. I didn't see the full thing. That's why I was asking you.
I think
there was something. If he could have that interview again, would he have said something different?
nah, he's a Mickey.
Yeah, I know. That's what I mean.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Sticky Ricky.
I think what happened was he put him on. Jordan Rapana gave him the ball. He went down the short side instead of going inside, got taken into touch. And I think the question was, do you regret putting him on at that time? He's like, no, you guys are telling me I've got to play him, and this is the reason why I haven't played him, because he needs to learn some more experience. So he's kind of having to go back at the journos.
By saying, what do I know? I'm just a dumb coach.
Exactly
having a crack
right.
back at them.
Yeah, so I
That's
think
fair.
that's
Then.
all it was.
That's fair. I just thought it might have been one of his typical.
No. But he's made a few changes, which we'll get to when we go through the teams there in a bit. So
We didn't give our tip for that St George game either.
we'll get to that a bit later on.
No, look, so what we think of that, or are we going to move that on? So the last games we previewed.
We'll save the best for last.
Yeah, save the best of them. Fuck off, mate. The Melbourne game's the last one anyway, brother.
We'll take a quick break and we'll be back straight after this.
Having a bet on sport this week? Top this.
Whether you're into cricket and curling or golf and greyhounds, TopSport will let you on for plenty. And with literally hundreds of markets from your own backyard to the international stage, TopSport has you well covered. So if you want to get the top odds every time, bet with TopSport.
Top that. Download the app today. TopSport. Feel the excitement.
Don't let the game play you. Stay in control. Gamble responsibly.
Welcome back. Boys making a few funnies in the ad breaks. That will have to be cut out of the episode. I'm sorry, can't go to air. Birdo, you got something for us, mate? What do we got?
Yeah, boys, we're going to kick off again with our player ratings, our performance player ratings for this week. Last week we did Kalen Ponga, DCE, Cameron Murray and Sean Johnson. But this week, boys, I'm just going to go to the three this week, boys. And my first one I am very, very critical of.
So just explain again to the new listeners.
Oh, yes.
what it is,
So for the new listeners, sorry. So this is what we do. So we pick a player from in no set order from no said team, and we just basically give them a rating on what they were last year and a rating to what they are now. So, for example, last week we had a Sean Johnson was a 5.5 out of 10 last year, and I'll give him a 5.5 again. He hasn't really improved, but he realistically hasn't really lost too much. Having said that, we had the week off when you had the old Sydney sneeze.
Spicy cough.
And so that's in a fortnight. He's actually put on a masterclass for the Warriors in a couple of games. So that was good for him. So basically, I'm going to give the rating of what I thought they were last year. If you disagree with it, mate, I'll meet you in the car park.
Let us know in the comments.
But if you want, comment a player, we'll give it a rating, and we'll see what your rating is, and we'll see how we go if we compare, boys. But
All right, let's get into
so
it.
we're going to kick it off. David Fafita from the Titans. Last year, I think I just feel he's under. I'm not sure. Last year, I'll give him a 6. I just think he underperformed a lot last year of where he could have been, or perhaps a bloke that size of what he could have done. But I'm going to give him a 6.
I'll let you kick off, Chez.
Probably roll about a 7 from last year. Could, like you're saying, could have done a lot more. Sort of got caught in that trap that has kept feeding the same sort of balls from the same players, and he didn't really go out on his own to try and make anything new happen for himself. So I'll go give him a 7 from last year. But I think this year he's sort of stepped up a little bit in those terms, but at that stage everyone's sort of stepped up a bit this year. As we've seen, there's been some teams that have a bit more competitive. So I'm going to bump him up another half a point for this year, so 7.5 so far.
He's a bit of a twist top.
Yeah, he is. But I reckon if he gets moved out to the centres, he'd definitely jump up to about 8.5 out there.
I think he played a lot of last year, especially back end of last year, injured. So I think that might have affected him.
He did come off the bench.
Yeah, and he was actually all right when they used him for that impact. Chez is right. He sort of gets locked out there in that one position. He needs to build those combinations with the playmakers and feed him some good ball, put him in some holes, that kind of stuff. But he's barnstorming when he does it. The other week against Para, that run where Gutho looked like a little rag doll.
Bryce Cartwright.
If anyone was going to tackle, stop him, Gutho would, but he just couldn't. He did something again last week, I think, which was similar. But you can't expect that for the full 80 minutes. And to be honest, I don't think you can expect that kind of thing every week. There was a Cooper Cronk on the Matty Johns podcast last night I was watching. He said a good thing, we over expecting too much from him. Can't we just be happy with him doing those kind of things every 2, 3, 4 weeks, as long as he gets involved a little bit more? So I'm probably sticking with Chez. I'm probably going to go 7.5. I don't think he's sort of at that 8 yet, but I think he's going to have a better year this year than last year. Let's just say that.
Definitely has potential to move though.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to leave him at a 6. 6 last year in my eyes. I'm going to leave him at a 6 this year. The only thing. No, Chez said 7. Okay. The only thing I think, I love what he does out apart from the fact that he's a weasel and runs out against the wingers and the centres, but that's not necessarily my problem. My problem is what I'd like to see him do is, say, once every 3 sets, come in for a run through the middle.
Yeah.
Use his size, because he is 0 to 100 like a leopard, and he's just about as quick. Get the ball over the advantage line, take the pressure off Big Tino, off Wallace and Jolliffe and those sort of boys.
Yeah.
If they're not bending the line, get him in there, get a bit of momentum, a quick play of the ball. He's a big boy. He's hard to bring down. If he stands in the tackle, he wins the right, bang through the feet.
Exactly. Got to get involved more, definitely. And then those one-off game-changing things will come. You look at him now and you think, is this going to be the run he does a game-changing thing? When he doesn't, you go, oh. But yeah, if he just gets a bit more involved and then something like that will come. So,
so
very good.
But,
all right,
next one, Nicho Hines. Last year, I'd give Nicho Hines an 8. This year, with his move to Cronulla, he has gone from better to best, and he is my first 10 so far this year.
Yeah.
Nicho Hines is absolutely on fire.
Hard to disagree. I'm going to go 9.5 just because 10 is dead set top level, and I don't like the way he kicks goals. So half a point off of that.
Or the fact he's got like sexy long curly hair.
It kind of makes me a bit jealous there as well. But yeah, I agree. He's fucking playing fantastic. Again, Cooper Cronk last night was saying these fullbacks that then transition to halfback. And Jerome Hughes was the same thing. They have an eye for space. They know where to look for space and how to run to space. And I think that's really helped him with his running game as well. But his combination with Matt Moylan, I'm not the only one, but a lot of people think that's not going to work. They're both going to play the same. They're both running. No one's an organiser, but they're going gangbusters.
Yeah, absolutely.
I had him I think I had him in my top 8 at maybe number 7th, around 7th. I think they'll be 4th or 5th, to be honest.
Yeah, I think
unless he gets injured.
I had a very similar, and I think the way they're playing now, I might have some cake on my face. I think they'll end up a little bit higher than we've predicted.
Yeah, 9.5 for me.
From last year, I'd rate him as an 8. I think one of our multis last year, the Hail Mary bets we used to do, I labelled him in there as the magician. One of them. He is crafty. He's good. This year, like we're saying, the Sharks have just improved so much, and it comes from players like him. I'm going to creep him up to a big 9 for this year.
See, we're all very similar. 10, 9.5 and a 9. So that's not
good.
Bad, Nicho Hines. It'd be good to see him in blue and gold. I'll give you that for a tip. My third and final for tonight, depends on when you're listening. It might be in the AM, the PM. Who cares? Jack Whiten. Now, Bim's probably going to fight me next time I'm down at the headquarters, but Jack Whiten, I think whether he just struggles for that little somebody next to him. In that case, Matty Moylan struggled over the last couple of years. Bang! Now he's got Nicho Hines with him. At the Broncos, for example, they sort of struggled there. Now Adam Reynolds is up there steering the ship. Another massive one, and it showed on the weekend, was actually all the pressure that was on Luke Brooks, and now. Hastings is there. He's our little partner in crime. He's gone from, that pressure, that release off him, so and they could spread the load. But Jackie Whiten, last year I'm going to give him a 7, and I don't know if it's maybe that the players that are around him that he struggles for a bit of backup in that sense that I said now there's a Reynolds and now there's a Hastings etc. at other clubs, whereas he sort of struggles for that solid person next to him. I'm going to give him a 5 this year so far.
Yeah, I think the loss of Jamal Fogarty, you'd see a completely different Jack Whiten if he was playing, because it does take that pressure off. A lot of the balls go into Whiten. I think teams are picking that off. He had a fantastic game, maybe the first or second game of the year, which was his 200th. Scored a couple of tries and just blitzed them. Can't remember who he played, but fantastic in that game. But the form has dipped. But I think like you're saying, I think it's because he doesn't have that. He's got Matt Frawley inside and Schneider, who's only played half a dozen first-grade games. But if you had Jamal Foggy, I think you see a completely different Jack White and a completely different Canberra Raiders, to be honest. So what do you have him at this year, 5?
So 7 last year. I got him a 5.
I really like Jack. I'm going to go, if you got him at 5 this year, I'm going to go a 6. And I think he might struggle to keep his Blues number 14 spot.
Which is a shame, because that can that little bit extra motivation sort of thing.
Back to club
Absolutely,
land, yeah. Chez?
Yeah, no, previous year I thought he's good. He's got those big, strong horse legs. He just makes line breaks from anywhere. Very, very dangerous when he has the ball. He's one of those players they've really got to watch and at least have sort of 2 markers on him. I'd give him a 7.5 from last year. This year, obviously from what you guys just mentioned as well, the way the team's rolling at the moment, absolutely woeful. I wouldn't like to put a red cent on them at the moment, the way they're playing, so I'm going to give him a 5.
Yeah, that's exactly what I've given.
His forms has dropped, and like what we're saying, what you just mentioned about there with playing rep, he's one of them players that can come off the bench and just make those big impact moves, put on some meters, do some tackling.
He's good on the bench as number 14 because he can cover nearly every position except for front row.
But the way
I'll tell you what, if you asked him to punch it up, he probably would.
Yeah. The way things are rolling this year, I think you're right. There's going to be a new man in town.
It'll be hard not to put Nico Hines at the number 14 with the way he's playing at the moment.
Absolutely,
a few weeks out, I reckon. So,
absolutely,
very good. That was good. I like that segment. And I have another 3 next week, mate.
Yeah, we'll have another 3. See how we go. Might have a little 4, but we'll try and aim for 3 short, sharp. And as I said, any listeners out there, any viewers out there, watchers, hit us with a email. All the links and everything else are in the description. Email us through, or even just comment a football player of your own liking, and give us your rating, and we'll give you yours.
Sounds good. All right, we've got a bit of time left in this segment, boys. Why don't we jump into the first 2 games? We did mention earlier with Tristan the Sharks up against Manly. This one's Thursday at Shark Park, 7:50 p.m. Great game to kick the round off, I feel. Sharks $1.45 favourite. Manly $2.80 outside. As I said before, I don't mind that price. The Lions 6.5. Sharkies are at the minus for $1.95, and Manly at the plus for $1.85. How do you see this game playing out, boys? We've got a few big outs with Dale Finucane and Braden Hemlin-Uele, but also another big one with the creamy mayonnaise.
Josh Aioli.
Josh Aloiai out from Manly as well. How do you see it playing out? You boys are both picking Cronulla, I believe.
Yeah, I'll go Cronulla. As Tristan he touched on early in the show, how good they've been at Shark Park. They're getting plenty of support down there, and they're playing some good football. And as we touched on earlier, a lot of their forwards are coming off particularly their impact players off the bench coming around. They're playing good football. Talakai in the centres is playing like an absolute mate. That's
silky hands last week.
D9 bulldozer with a he's a big dude, but wow, he's got a big motor and gets going.
And skill too.
Absolutely, yeah.
A lot of skill.
I'm going to go Cronulla for this one. I think they'll be too good at home. And like Tristan said, when all that big crowd's behind them, it's amazing what that can do.
Just trying to find my notes from previous weeks. I'm trying to remember where I had the Sharks to run for our ladder predictions. I think I might have had them around 7th.
Yeah, I think
I'm going to be a little bit wrong there this year. I think they're going to be a fair bit higher than that. Definitely leaning towards those guys this week against the old Silvertails. I think they're just they're that side this year that has really come out and improved, and I think it's a lot of aspects of the game with the new players, the new coach and everything. Everything seems to be working for them. I know they didn't win last week against Melbourne, but playing Melbourne, I think they would have learned a few, not so much mistakes, but just learned how to handle a few things differently from that game. They're going to be hot and strong this week, and I'm going to take them for sure.
They had a few things go against them last week with Finucane out early with that head knock. I think they wouldn't have won last week, but I think it might not have blown out as much if he was still on the field for the most of the game. But it would have been a good learning curve for them. Litmus test, as they like to say, and kind of see where they are. If they play again later in the year, I can see it being a lot more competitive.
Yeah, absolutely.
And staying in touch, because it was good for about 55 minutes, and then they just lost touch. But Cam Munster, he was phenomenal last week. God, he played.
Love watching me a bit of Sione Katoa too.
Yeah, he can score a try.
Absolutely.
Boys, you mentioned Talakai back in the centres. Imagine tackling. Imagine trying to tackle.
Oh, you know the old legs, and then you look and going, oh, mate, look at the size of them
He's
legs.
the same size all the way through.
Yeah.
Who was that big fella? Utah.
Matty Utah. Yeah.
Those sort of legs.
Exactly. All right, so Cronulla. I'm going to go Manly. Ooh. I can just see a bit of an upset, bit like the Tigers with the Eels. You watch, they'll lose by 30. All right, we've got a bit of time. Next game, boys. Broncos versus Bulldogs. We
touched multi.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Back it up.
Cut
Moldy.
me.
Who's the Moldy? I
Cut me
didn't
off.
have it written down, so.
I'm going to go...
Moldy, Birdo's Moldy. Let's go.
This is a conservative one. I'm going to go Cronulla head-to-head. I'm going to go the points over 35.5. Cristiano Ronaldo Mulatalo. That's going to be $3.82. Not little conservative, that one, but so Sharks head-to-head over 35.5. Ronaldo Mulatalo anytime try scorer.
How much?
$3.82.
I'll write that down. Cronulla head-to-head over 35.5 and Mulatalo. Like it. Nice. All right, can we move on to the next game?
Absolutely, mate. All yours.
Broncos up against the Bulldogs, Suncorp Stadium, Friday, 7:55 p.m. Broncos $1.28 favourites. As Tristan said, the Bulldogs have come in from $4 to $3.75. The line, 10.5, which is probably a big line considering what we were speaking about previously with Tristan, at the minus for $1.90 with the Broncos and at the plus for $1.90 for the Bulldogs. Thoughts on this one, boys? You both picking the Bronx?
No.
One of you picking the Bronx?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to go to Broncos.
Go the Bronx?
I just, that COVID sort of nonsense. But then again, too, that might be the old head game, too, where people sort of, they're going to go, these boys have got COVID, half their sides out, or they haven't trained properly all week. They've had broken preparation and that sort of stuff. And that's the sort of stuff that can get you, catch you with your pants down. I tell you that. I'm a Parramatta supporter, and that happened on Monday afternoon. But I think Brisbane will be too strong, particularly being at home, too. And I'm a big fan of when you're picking home and away sides, particularly when they're sides like the Broncos, because Broncos have a massive fan base, regardless win, lose or draw. They've always, so when they're going through that massive rough patch last year, the year before, they still had plenty of numbers turn out to the game. So regardless of them getting spanked, but I'm going to stick with the Broncos.
Doesn't happen every week. Some weeks I get a feeling there's going to be an upset here or there throughout the round. This is my upset for the week. This one, I reckon the Dogs are going to roll them.
Yeah, right.
It's got a feel that we just get that sort of a feeling sometimes you just have to go with it.
Yeah.
99% of the time I am wrong.
But it's the one time you don't.
I've got to go with
Yeah.
it. Otherwise, if I go the Bronx, Dogs win by about 14.
Just a few ins and outs there, boys. Farnworth comes back in. Tamari Martin's in for Tessie New at fullback, as we said.
First game in
7 years or something. Had a brain bleed, so hopefully he makes it through. And the old Mr. Report himself, Flegler, comes back in to replace Ryan James. So see if he can top his 4 reports from when he made his...
I think Herbie Farnworth was up the top of the try-scoring ladder there.
Yeah, he's
too.
done really good this year. So hopefully he'll come back with a vengeance as well. All right, we've got a minute or so, boys. Do we want to quickly
sneak in the Cowboys game?
Yeah.
You're going to give my multi, mate?
Shit,
sorry. Me again,
Go
mate.
back to the multi.
Hey, fair dinkum.
If you had it written down,
Turn around, someone else will take me spot here next week. This one here's got a little bit of filth in it too. I tell you, Broncos head-to-head. The points will be over 35.5 because there's dog shit defence. And I'm going to go Corey Oates, first try scorer, $15.22.
Oh.
So that's my value bet for the week. And I might have a little dab at that.
Putting on yourself. Fantastic. All these bets that all these multis are for our charity bets. For those of you that are new to the show, each week our major sponsor TopSport gifts us with $50 each to bet with, and we basically combine that and we'll do a $15 multi on each game. All the money going to our charities at the end of the footy season, which will be great.
April 2019, Tamari Martin's last game.
Yeah, okay. That's close to 7 years, I think.
Mate, you must have your calendar's
4.
different to mine.
I'm in the Chinese calendar.
Oh, sorry, mate,
We can't sneak in the Cowboys game now. Sorry, boys, but we'll do that straight after we come back.
Another half win. From punters jumping in early or waiting too late. You get a good price on one leg, but the others have shortened dramatically. You still win, but it feels like you half win. Introducing TopSport's best of the best multi. Get top odds on every leg, every time. Don't be one of these. Just bet and forget with Bob Multi. TopSport. Feel the excitement.
Don't let the game play you. Stay in control. Gamble responsibly.
All right, we're back. We're going to go straight into Birdo's Multi because he's fucking been having to whinge the whole ad break. Next game, we've got the Cowboys up against the Titans, boys. Saturday, 5:30 up at Queensland Country Bank Stadium up there in Townsville. Should be nice and warm, dry track, hopefully. Cowboys are favourites there, $1.83. Titans, $1.98, fairly close there. The line's only 1.5 on this. Cowboys at the minus for $1.95 and Titans at the plus for $1.85. Birdo, hit us with your multi first up before we even get any team list because I don't want to piss you off anymore because I feel it might be the last straw.
Mate, there'll be a resignation in the in your emails by the morning. I'm going to go the Cowboys head-to-head. Now, I'm going to go the Cowboys to win the first half, so the side to be leading at halftime. And I'm going to go Philip Sammy, who's in terrific form at the moment as an anytime try scorer, $6.46.
$6.46. That's a good price. Nice little three-legger there. Let's jump into the team list now. Anything, boys? Who are we picking? You picking the Cowboys to win that one?
Tricky one.
Hammer's out. It's reading here. He's on the reserves, but...
Yeah, he's been out for a while, so Scotty Drinkwater's playing there at fullback. He had a good game last week when he came in. Valentine Holmes, he's playing the best he has since he came back.
He's playing really good football. And
really
he just needed that little bit extra because obviously his body's changed. He's put on a lot more muscle and whatever else. But
Tom Malolo's playing well again.
Cole Ford had a good game against the Chooks the other week.
Yeah, really good.
There's some, they've got some good players. And who's that? Nenai, is it? Nenai, he keeps Jeremiah Nenai.
Loves
scoring a try.
Re-signed with them too, I believe.
Yeah, one more year, yep. Boys, just reading here, no changes for the Titans, but Campbell's name is on the reserve list, so Jaden Campbell. So maybe look for him to come in at fullback for Jermaine Asako. I know you like Jermaine but don't like Campbell, but I don't know. Since he's been injured, I'm not saying it's just him, but since he's been injured, they kind of dropped a bit for me.
Might be that little bit extra creativity.
And just the structure. They've trained all off-season, whereas Jermaine Asako's come from a whole different club.
A whole different system.
Exactly right. So that might have something to do with it as well. But what are your thoughts, Chez?
Well, it's going to be one of those games that's either going to be like 38-34 or it's going to be 8-6.
Yeah.
Flick the coin,
I think it's
lands.
going to be a tough, tight contest. Whether it's going to be a score-a-thon or not that's what I can't work out. Tempted to lean towards the Titans. I am. I lean towards Titans this week. Can give them the benefit of the doubt again. Not by much, though, wasn't it? A couple of cents. About 10 cents or something.
Yeah, it was very short. Playing up far north, too. It should be a dry, fast track, too.
Hopefully, yeah.
And I'm a big fan of Jermaine Asako as well. I was a bit disappointed how he got done at the Bronx last year. So I'm going to lean towards the Titans for that one. Put a little bit more value to my 8-leg multi for pick the winners.
Now, have we done our multi for this one?
Yeah, we have. Luckily, too.
Moving along. Saturday, 7:30, Tigers versus South. This one's at CommBank Stadium. Great crowd there last week. I doubt they'll get a third of that for this game. Tigers, $3.90 outsiders after that victory last week. South's heavy favourites, $1.26. The line is set at 11.5. Get the Tigers at the plus at $1.90 or the Rabbitohs at the minus also $1.90. How do you see this one playing out, boys? Tigers got that victory. Will it spur them on, or did they play their grand final, so to speak, last week?
I'll just jump in real quick. When the 80th minute whistle goes, they won't be jumping on stacks on high five, and that's for sure. They'll be fucking crying going back to the locker sheds. They'll be
absolutely bashed.
Yes, absolutely demoralised, I think, this week. They come on with that sneaky win last week. It won't happen again this week. I'm going to take the South 19 plus in this game.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
The switch from 7 to 6 for Lukey Brooks obviously worked. Jackson Hastings took a bit more control, led the team around the park, obviously kicked that winning field goal. They're stuck, no changes for the Tigers, obviously that.
What about, was it Young Simpson?
Simpkins,
sorry.
with the ankle.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looked bad. I think he's still been named though, so
Yeah, right. Must have just been bunging it on
I
for
think he just wanted a hot shower. I think.
tactical. He didn't want to be out there for the loss and they end up winning, so get the Medicab back out.
Who are you taking, mate?
Yeah, I'm going to go South.
I'm going to go. Sorry. Yep.
South.
I'm going to go South too. This is my multi, and I've just gone a little three-legger here. Got AJ to score anytime, Nofaluma anytime. He got across for a double the other week, I think, and over 40.5 points. I think there'll be quite a few points, mostly leaning towards Souths. So three-legger AJ Nofaluma over 40.5, $6.05.
That's not bad odds.
Pretty good for a little three-legger there. All these odds thanks to TopSport, and I challenge you to find better odds with the same legs anywhere, because they are the best over at TopSport. That's for sure. For sure.
Guarantee that too, so I have sussed them out.
Yeah, I've actually
And
looked
by
in it
far,
myself. Yeah.
Multis just increased by dollars and dollars and dollars per leg.
I've put,
Same bets.
getting off track, I've put multis on with other companies, and I've added a leg, and the price has gone down.
Yeah.
Is that my apprentice is a shocker for it? He'll put say para head to head, para 13 plus, and he goes, there's two legs and it doesn't fucking change because it's the same thing, you idiot.
Very good. All right, next game, boys. Knights versus Para, Sunday 2 p.m. McDonald's Jones Stadium. I'm actually going to be in Newcastle. I might head to this if the weather's all right. $3.15 if you like the Knights. $1.37 for the Eels coming off that loss last week. The line set at 8 plus. For the Knights at $1.90 and minus for Para also $1.90. Should be a good game. Like I said, I might make my way out to the stadium there if the weather's all right, and take my daughters out the first footy game, and hopefully let them see a Parramatta loss.
Junior Paulo's back too, I'm reading here.
Fucking this will be the first loss of consciousness on live TV here too.
Fantastic.
Yeah, just reading here, Junior Paulo's back, Birdo.
Yeah, after that suspension. I missed him last week, I think.
Massive. Particularly through the middle. When you talk a bit of structure and stuff like that too, we lacked offload. We lacked the impact. And I'll give it to him, he is super safe. Now, I haven't said that he'll knock the ball on 3 or 4 times, but rarely does he give away an error. You know, he is prone to the odd penalty, but realistically, a forward of his size, it's hard not to be. Like size, like when you're talking about weight wise, your Nelson Asafa Solomona, he's always, particularly a ruck infringement, more so that like a slower sort of play the ball, to laying around in the ruck because they are bigger men to get out. But yeah, it was massive, that drive, that push through the middle, that offload, and I'll tell you what, there's something about that bloke. He will take 2 hit-ups in a set if he has to. Just, that leadership and that big drive. So, missed it a lot. But, him coming back this week will steady the ship. And I tell you what, I'd hate to be at the training sessions this week, because I tell you what, they'd have got flogged by the 9 whip. The old 9-tail across the back numerous times. They would have got hammered over that.
Yeah, BA wouldn't have been very happy, that's for sure.
No, but it's amazing what emotions can do in a game of football. And Tigers were by far the better team.
Yep.
Mate, going to have to go with Para this week for myself. I can see him bouncing back after that. Now, I know it's your multi, but if I had a multi, I'd be putting both the fullbacks in, anytime try scorers, and David Clemmer on report. I'd like to know when that gets paid. But anyway.
Or a punch to the throat. On that Newcastle news, Kalen Ponga signed an extension today. So, was it 5 years?
Nothing wrong with an extension.
Yeah, it takes him out to 5 years, I think. Yeah. I'd be happy with 2 inches.
And keep the money.
Boys, as you mentioned, Chez is my multi. I can't pick a head-to-head. I just don't know how Para's going to respond after that loss. They'll either come out guns blazing, or they might just go downhill.
That bottom lip might be still down.
Yeah, looking at the Knights, they're nearly at full strength. Ponga's signed that deal, as you said, so let's put all that unrest to bed, which they reckon's been a distraction. Clune comes back in. Kurt Mann's playing out of his skin at the 13.
Mitchell Pearce on the bench.
So I'm just struggling. So I haven't picked any head-to-head or even a winner in my multi. I've just gone 3 anytime try scorers, boys. And I've gone Edric Lee, big Edric. He come back in last week. He played his first game last week since Game 3 Origin 2020 or something like that. He was injured and out for like nearly over a year.
Wow.
Which I didn't think it was that long. But anyway, he played not too bad. He cramped up a bit there towards the end. So I got Edric Lee, Tuala and Bailey Simonson to get across as well. $14.70 if you like that. That's pretty good odds for
Yeah,
three
I
try
like that.
scorers. All outside backs.
Simonson, yeah. But
I struggle with picking Parramatta's outside backs for points because I'll pick the left side one week and then they all
score on the right.
or vice versa.
yeah. Unless Mike Acevo's there, then you can put him in.
Just on the
He's a
left,
moral.
exactly. Yeah. So that's why I just go on Simonson. Hopefully you'll get across on me. $14.70, good value there as well.
Something about those, speaking about crowds and stuff earlier, those Novocastrians, they do fire up when they play at home too, so they'll have plenty of wind behind them as well.
I don't mind throwing on a little Sean Lane first try score here and there too.
He's good, and the problem is if you try and chop him close to the line, he's like a Nelson, like a big, tall. If you try and chop him, he'll just reach.
over,
So
yeah.
you got to try and take him up high. So
Next game, boys, Sunday 4 p.m. out there at Penrith Park. Panthers up against the Raiders. Panthers heavy favourites here, $1.11. Raiders are $6.70.
wow.
Line is set at 19.5, so a fairly big line. That might blow out a bit more, to be honest. Minus for the Panthers at $1.90 and plus for the Raiders at $1.90 as well. Panthers were good last week. You boys know, but the listeners might not because we didn't have a show last week. That penalty try to Isaac Tago in the last second of the game got my multi up. $277 win for our charity bet, so fantastic. Thank you. Who pushed him in the back? Stags, I think, maybe.
Yeah.
So
maybe.
thank you, Mr. Toesucker. I appreciate that. So that was a good win. So they're playing out of their skin. They didn't play that good last week, but they got the job done. You know what I mean? And up against the Raiders, I can probably see that happening again. Make it 7 straight for the season.
What's Canberra going to have to do to beat Panthers? I can't see Panthers losing unless they have an absolute shocker.
Someone said the only way you can beat them is to move the ball.
Panthers.
But yeah, is there any side out there that can move the ball laterally?
Well, that's what
Quick
we were
enough.
saying about before with White and not having that half. He's a running back. He doesn't pass much anyway. And Brad Schneider, I probably haven't seen enough of him to make too much comment on it, but I don't think he's that, that expansive football player yet, just 6 or 7 games into his career. So I don't know if the Raiders will be that team to do that. Team list here, boys. Panthers are unchanged. For the Raiders, a bit of movement. So Rapana moves to fullback.
Nice.
Charnze Nicoll-Klokstad is benched. And Xavier Savage goes onto the wing. So a bit of a shuffle around there of the players. So it'll be interesting to see how that works. I know you like Rapana at fullback. I'm surprised he didn't put Savage at fullback, but maybe from those comments we were speaking about earlier, maybe he just wants to bring him in on the wing first. I can guarantee he won't be taking the short side.
He'll be in there just punching it up like a forward and throw the ball to him on the wing. He won't be there.
Be good to see him get a couple. Sorry, mate. Be good to see him get a couple of good balls, a bit of space out there. That Xavier Savage, I'm talking about, to see his speed and see how he can handle himself next to the line.
I'm
next to the
surprised.
sideline.
I'm actually very, very surprised that Charnze has gone to the bench.
Yeah, he hasn't been playing that well, to be honest.
Worst case scenario-
I'm biggest supporter, but
What I would have done, because Charnze is a shit hot player. He's coming off some injuries and long stint of injuries where Rapana played out of his skin at fullback. So I can understand that move, but perhaps move him to the wing.
yeah.
And then maybe the 70-minute mark. No, we'll say the 50-minute mark. Perhaps maybe he come off and Savage go on, or Rapana come off, Charnze go back to fullback, and he has a little stint on
Well,
the
it'll be
wing.
interesting to see
Try
how
and
he
bleed him
uses
a little.
how
Yeah.
he uses Charnze, whether he comes in as a number 9 or in around the middle, number 13, because he's a fairly big lad. I honestly think, boys, he got really injured last year with his neck. If you remember, he was out for quite a bit, and I think it's. I can't speak for him, but for what I see, he looks a bit tentative, a bit like Paps did after he came back from that big knockout in Magic Round last year.
Yeah, put the fear of God into him.
I think it's just playing on his mind a bit, to be honest. He just doesn't punch it up like he used to. He doesn't attack the ball like he used to. So, hey, if you get injured like that, I'm sure that would mess with your psyche a bit. So
Absolutely.
my multis, boys, I loaded up on Panthers here. I've gone Panthers head-to-head. Taylor May to score anytime. Charlie Staines to score anytime. And Big Vil Kickow also to get across anytime. 4 legs, $8.25, thanks to TopSport.
That's not too bad. Boys, I think it's almost at that point where you can put up a market as to when Penrith's next loss will be. And I think you'll almost clean up on it. I in the near future, I can't see it happening.
I'm going to have a sneaky multi for myself this weekend. It'll be all Panthers. I'm going to throw in some second rowers
Liam Martin.
and Isaiah Yao, I think, for
I
some
love
anytime
Liam
try
Martin.
scorers. I think probably looking towards sort of maybe Liam Martin, or say Yao and like a Fisher Harris or someone like that.
Fisher Harris to like grapple
The
tackle.
money's going to be a good one for that one. Nice big return.
You mentioned their first loss. They play the Storm in Magic Round Saturday night. It's going to be a phenomenal game.
Absolutely, yeah.
So that's round 10.
The big boys through the middle. They both got big forward pack.
it'll
They
be a
both
great
got
game.
really good back lines and halves.
And just the right
Atmosphere.
right atmosphere and right round to put in, centerpiece of your Magic Round. Let's move it through these games, boys, so we can quickly round out everything else. This one here, we don't want to punch through too quick, but we did touch on it before. Dragons up against the Roosters, the traditional Anzac Day clash. All three of our favourite game of the year, just for the build-up and the hype and last post, all that kind of stuff. Monday, 4 p.m. at the SCG. I'll be driving back from Newcastle, boys. I'm going to leave at 4 a.m. in the morning just to make sure I'm home in time to watch all the pre-game stuff. Dragons $4 outsiders, Roosters heavy favourites $1.25. The line set at 12 plus for the Dragons $1.90 minus for the Roosters also $1.90. You first, Chez, your team.
Mate, the trumpets will be blowing, the chooks will be crowing, and there'll be feathers everywhere. This is going to be an absolute sensational game. I've got a feeling the veins are pumping already. I think they're going to be way too strong for them.
Blue veins?
I don't like blue vein cheese.
I wasn't talking about cheese.
They're usually purple. Look when you squeeze them. Geez, we're getting off topic here.
That's enough.
Calm down. I think we're
Sorry, Mum.
I think they're going to be way too strong in this game. Yeah. Way too strong. I caught some snippets of the Dragons game. When was that? When they play? Sunday night, was it? Monday night? Sunday night? A couple of days ago anyway.
Yeah.
Pretty trash, really. Who they played the Knights, I think it was.
Yeah.
It wasn't much to see. The highlight reel was pretty bit of a snooze-a-thon.
It was a good game because it was a close game, but it wasn't high-quality game, if that makes sense.
Yeah, one of those games. I can see a lot of points in this game, though, in saying that. I think Dragons will get over the line more than probably once or twice, but I think we're going to do them pretty comfortably. I think it's going to be a big scoring match, hopefully. Lots and lots of tries, and Chooks will be crowned by the 80th minute.
Your favourite game, mate?
Yeah, I love this game. This is, apart from grand finals and origins, obviously, this is my favourite game of the season. My old boy's a massive St George supporter. So it's just good atmosphere. And it's one of those sort of days where it represents something too, because you've already been to the dawn service or you've been to the march and you've watched the parades and whatever. Right. You've had a couple of loudmouth soups. You've had a little 2-up or something like that, or they've even got it on the big screen behind. But all that stuff aside, boys, it's amazing what emotions do in a game of football. And I'm going to point out that Parramatta game last week, Big Easter Monday. It was a massive battle of the West. It was an absolute full house at CommBank Stadium, or Bankwest, whatever the fuck it's called now. I'm going to tip the Roosters, but I'm going to have a little dab at St George. I think when it comes to emotions and all that nonsense last week, I reckon, emotion-wise, I'm going to tip St George. But if I'm tipping with my head, I'm going to go the Roosters.
$4 for the Dragons, not a bad price there either.
Put your house on it.
Just while Chez writes his multi down, I'll just have a look through the team list here, boys. No changes for the Dragons. For the Chookies there, Momorowski comes back in with Kevin Nagama out of the 17. Takiaho is named after being a late withdrawal, so I'll see if he sees Saluka Fafita pushed to the reserves there as well. And Verrills and Hutchinson are swapped back, but it'll be interesting to see whether that's the case at kickoff. So
I think that Saluka Fafita is David Fafita, but he's just got those glasses on that have the big eyes, the mustache, and the big nose and the eyebrows. I think it's the
like
same.
Homer.
I think it's the same bloke.
I think our weakness is Nguama.
yeah, well, he's gone this week.
Yeah, I know. He's
I had him anytime try scorer the other week. He got up.
Yeah, he's a bit small, and for his power. And I got this, get like shivers every time he gets past the ball. I think he's going to drop it. I just got this thing about it. Anyway,
Watch him up.
Roosters,
Hit us with
never
your mate.
happy.
I had to borrow Clint's phone, so I left my phone over on the bench. Mate, Chook's going to give him the line, so they're going to have a minus 12.5 into Joseph Sawali and Joey Manu, the two Joes, the Jojos. That's $6.30 for those three legs.
Sawali finding his feet
that
too.
line's come into 12 from when you gave me your multi yesterday. I think I read
right.
12 here. So
there we go.
That 12 at the line. Fantastic, good little multi there, boys. Let's jump into the last game. We're running out of time. This is another traditional Anzac game. The Melbourne Storm up against the Warriors. Melbourne Storm favourites at $1.09. Warriors heavy outsiders, $7.50 if you do like the
Ouch.
Kiwis. Have a little sneaky 10 on that. At the line there, set at 19.5, another big line. Minus for the Storm, $1.95, or you can get the Warriors at the plus for $1.85. Teamless boys, the Bromwich brothers are back in after, I think, a bit of COVID last week. And looking for the Warriors there, Matty Lodge returns to the side as well. I think they missed him a bit last week as well. So,
Geez, they must have been hard up.
how do you see it playing out?
Yeah, Melbourne by 100.
Melbourne by 100.
And
100 plus.
And me in bed by that time too after a couple of soups.
7 o'clock, you'll be gone.
My bank account after a round of 2 up might be in bed with me as well.
And my multi reflects heavily on the way I'm tipping for this game. I have got the game to be over 41.5 points. Melbourne to win 13 plus. Pappenhauser and Remus Smith anytime try scorers, and that's paying $6.70.
See, even having Remus in there, you still struggle for a bit of value, don't you?
Yeah, so he was paying a little bit more than what I thought he was too. That's why I threw him in.
Yeah, but
I think I could be wrong.
I think that just reflects how massively this game could be one-sided. And you know, they say the market reflects it, and in my eyes it does.
Yeah, definitely. I think to get any value out of have a big return, I would have had to put at least one Warriors leg in.
Yeah.
Just to get something back. But what do you put in? Do you put in
I was just going to say, are the Warriors going to be
pick your
scoreless?
line or?
Well, if you're looking at the Warriors against such a quality class outfit like Melbourne, where do you see their points?
Jesse Arthurs is usually like a
He's playing well.
regular scorer, has been
I suppose
for him.
Reece Walsh has hit some form over the last couple of weeks too.
Yeah.
But Melbourne have obviously going to look at that and they're going to sort him out. So
Yeah, well, Nico Hines actually commented on that game when they played Melbourne, and they said, obviously coming from the Melbourne system, he said they do a phenomenal amount of work on video and what would you say, TV sessions, and how players work and what their go-to and stuff like that is. So they do a lot of video analysis, and I think, as you said, so Reece Walsh is jag off the left foot. They might be counter, out to counter, that sort of stuff.
Last week, boys, 2 weeks ago, sorry, we did, Birdo had the remaining bet on Very Elegant, who ran a solid 4th, I think, in that race.
Yeah, it was a little bit disappointing.
So what we're going to do, we're going to throw to Chez. Question without notice, mate. You got $30 to spend for our last charity bet. What's it going to be? Can
I
be
have
on
it
anything.
on the Roosters, please?
oh fuck, we did.
On the spot, look at him.
Actually, I am going to go. I'm going to use my multis and merge them. Not all the legs though. Not all the legs.
Why don't you pick us the round? What are your tips for the round? And we'll put the
Oh,
$30
a couple
on
of
that.
roughies on there.
That's all right. That'll boost the odds
Imagine
up.
that. Well, I'll do that. So all the teams that I've picked today to win. So I've got 2 roughies in there. I've got Titans and the Dogs.
All right, hang on.
That's going to boost it right up.
Let
Let me get the thing here.
What we might actually do is we'll have
So who are you picking now? Cronulla, Manly.
so Cronulla,
All right, let's go Broncos, Canterbury, Bulldogs.
Dogs,
Cowboys, Titans.
Titans,
And we're going to go Tigers, Rabbits.
Rabbits,
Into Newcastle, Eels.
Para,
Panthers, Raiders.
Panthers,
St George, Roosters.
Chooks, and then Storm.
And then Storm. 8 legs. $28.11.
So I'll put the 30 on
I
that.
have 30 on that, so that would be a fantastic return for our charity.
28
if that
times
doesn't give
3.
up. Hopefully you can get a full round this week, mate.
Fingers crossed.
Only time I wish you don't forget to put your bets on. Let's quickly jump into beer of the week. Thanks to the Whitebull Hotel. Now, I'm guessing this isn't going to get a very high score, but if you do like these kind of beers, head on down to the Whitebull, get yourself a 4-pack, I believe they come in. Mr. Cherry couldn't even drink it, so it's over to you, Birdo.
As you might have noticed, I've been on these. Birdo's actually got the beer of the week. Hawkeye's off on holidays this week down at the pub, so I had to pick some, and I'm lucky I didn't have to drink it for the rest of the night because I had some of these left in the fridge. I had a sip out of it, and I'm going to give it half a star, half a lid.
Yeah, that's because it's a cracker at the
Can.
top. It's called the NZ Pils. For Pilsner, obviously. What is it? But this is a terrible print.
It's red writing, which is
It's
very hard to read.
terrible. It's a Bolter Brewing Company, I believe. 1.6 standards in a can. I tell you what, talking about starting lawnmowers, that one there will need started too, don't worry. Made in Australia, apparently. anyway, that defies what's on there. There's a little blurb on the back. I'm not going to read that. So, yeah, it's a can, so it's an easy opener. So there's a half a star straight up. I'm going to give it 1.5.
1.5
because it's cold and it's beer. I'm going to give it. I've got to give it some credit, but I tell you what, if you're trying to impress someone, I wouldn't be. If someone does a cashy for you and they say, "Oh mate, just get us a 6-pack. Get him a 6-pack of this."
Fantastic. Head on down to the Whitebull, great sponsors of the show. Pick yourself up a 4-pack of the NZ pills if you like the hairs on your chest to fall off. Anything else, boys, before we wrap
fruity.
it up?
If you're into that fruity sort of hoppy beer, by all means, give it a crack.
Yeah, you'll love it.
You never know.
I've already put my tips on, like I said before. Don't forget to put your tips in.
Yeah, drinking alcohol while pregnant can cause lifelong harm.
You better look out there.
Hey, that's my airbags. I had an accident on the way up.
Very good. That's all for us. Great to be back. Thanks for sticking with us through the last week, not having the show out. We're a bit disappointed. It was the only show we've missed in over 13 months of doing the podcast, so very disappointed. The old spicy cough got us. But we'll be back next week, same time, same place. Until then, don't eat your soup with a fork, gamble responsibly, and don't look like either of these boys.
Fact.